Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life, and we have another great article from Fierce Wireless. I will leave it in the description down below so you guys can check it out. But I wanted to tie this in with the preview of T-Mobile's earnings tomorrow. Their Q1 earnings will be reported tomorrow afternoon, and I'm expecting big numbers. So I'll tie that all into this video. So what T-Mobile announced today, I think, is something that has a lot of value, and I think it's a very, very big opportunity. So I think it's just a really big deal. I really truly believe so, because as Verizon and AT&T have to tap into other resources to gain revenue and additional profits, because most of the segments that they compete in are very mature. So the Fortune 500 business segment, like all the big businesses out there, Verizon and AT&T have been going back and forth on that for years. It's, I give you 5 accounts, you give me 10, I give you 10, you give me 20, I give you 20, you give me 20. It's just been back and forth. Verizon and AT&T control 90% of the bigger businesses in terms of the wireless business services that they provide. Verizon and AT&T control 90% of that segment. So there's really no, it's mature. There's really no room for them to claim any upside. They've already filled that segment. T-Mobile, no sir, they have not. They're barely scraping at 10%, and that's in the small business segment. They have huge, insane amounts of upside on just that segment. So they can work it, they can grow, they can get to 15, 20, 25, 30. That's another segment that they can grow in, being a pure wireless player. That's something where they don't have to purchase another media company or purchase someone else to gain revenue and profits. They can simply still find upside just by maintaining to be a pure wireless player. They can still grow on the consumer side. They can still grow business. They're going to grow fixed wireless. So there's plenty of opportunity for them to continue growing the way that they have throughout most of the LTE era into 5G, and they are expecting that to accelerate. And I can see their vision. I can clearly see their vision. They're going to knock on a bunch of Fortune 500 company doors this year. They're going to run pilot programs. They're going to say, test my network, test these services. This is the pricing. This is the deal. They're going to do it big time. So that's just something that I wanted to briefly discuss before giving you guys my preview of the quarterly earnings tomorrow. A business segment for T-Mobile is a huge opportunity of growth. And just that alone, that upside alone, is going to present an immense amount of value to its investors and to the company. So Q1 will be reported tomorrow afternoon. I'm expecting big numbers. And that's just the T-Mobile way. They've been growing by default. Their business is structured around growth. They've been taking the lion's share in the industry for quarter after quarter after quarter. How they do it, how many free lines are there within that growth, we don't know. They never share those numbers. But regardless, they're growing. They've been very little, but they've been growing their ARPU. They're trying to lower the churn of the Sprint customer. I'm sure we'll get some reports on that tomorrow if that's working. They launched a pilot program of moving the Sprint base over to the team of experts. They expected that to lower the Sprint churn, to get that experience. We'll see. We will see tomorrow if they drop, not ARPU, but if they drop churn a certain amount of basis points on the Sprint side. We will see tomorrow. It remains to be seen, but I'm confident that they're lowering it. Their estimates of lowering it by about half was conservative. They're, of course, going to try to be lower than that. They want to get it to T-Mobile churn levels, especially as they integrate the billing systems on the back end. That's going to happen this summer. So that's another thing that T-Mobile is working through. So there's a lot of work going on behind the scenes at T-Mobile. But regardless, The TNX migrations are picking up. They want to be at 60% by the end of the year, with having the Sprint customer at least on the T-Mobile network. Not necessarily plans and phones all migrated, but at least on the network. The Anchor network is getting better. Sprint conversions are happening at a fast pace. They're accelerating this. I'm seeing it all over. There's sites where T-Mobile never had coverage that are getting T-Mobile equipment now where Sprint existed. It's helping with the densification. It's actually massively helping with the densification. In places where there's no overlap in the T-Mobile and Sprint coverage, T-Mobile is simply going to those sites and they're upgrading them to add densification, if it's within the allowed spacing of the certain county or city. So some allow spacing 2 miles apart, some allow a mile apart. That just depends. But if it's not overlapping coverage, like where it's causing interference, they will use that Sprint site. More people have told me this internally. They're raising the Sprint keep site count daily now. They're looking, they're analyzing, they're running statistics. It already went from 11,000 to 13,000, and people are telling me that they're spotting more and more sites that are receiving the Sprint T-Mobile PLMN, I believe it's what it's called. And that, in theory, from what we've researched, that signals that that is going to be a T-Mobile keep site at some point. It will receive T-Mobile equipment. N71 and N41 if Sprint wasn't able to get that on the site. And just newer radios, newer baseband units. It'll receive a full modernization. So I'm expecting a big quarter. I'm expecting some clarification on some of the questions that people will have. You know, how did the launch go of home internet now that it's nationwide? Just certain things that people, of course, the analysts, they're going to ask those questions during the Q&A. I'm sure Neville will give us an update on where N41 now is. I think it's going to be at about 140 to 150 million covered now in Q1. They're moving at a very fast pace, and whatever they say tomorrow and whatever I'm letting you know, just keep in mind they're achieving all this with the CapEx as is. So they didn't raise it. In fact, they lowered it per guidance starting in 23 all the way to 26. They're going to remain at CapEx levels of 9 to 10 billion. So they're not overly spending more CapEx to fund their network projects. According to them, again, this is according to them, everything that they plan on doing network-wise, and remember, the network models are usually pre-planned 3, 5 to 10 years ahead. They're saying everything that they have pre-planned is funded with that cash, with that CapEx. That's C-band, small cells, new sites, 10,000 brand new sites. Those are sites that are not part of the Sprint keep site plans. That's for pure coverage expansion. Likely also gonna make the roaming agreements less of a priority. So U.S. Cellular, ComNet, whichever, they will use their native coverage to cover that roaming footprint in the future. So definitely stay tuned to the channel. I have more content coming for you. Tomorrow is the big earnings day, so stay tuned for that. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section down below. I'm expecting big numbers. I don't want to give a prediction. It's probably going to be over 1 million, 1.2, 1.3. But again, let me know in the comment section down below. If you have been on the channel or you're new to the channel and you have not yet liked, share, subscribe, make sure you do so. Hit the notification bell so you are notified when I do upload content. Make sure to follow the social media outlets for more updates, interactions. The videos are going on the Twitter, so you guys get notified the second they drop. I know YouTube has been behind on that, so make sure to follow that. Thanks again for watching. This is Tyrone with Tech Life. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.